Well, standing here in front of the Betcher Mansion, we've got a lot of issues to deal with, and to help me with that, we're meeting today with Alan from the Colorado State Forest Service. He's a district forester, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you very much for coming all the way up here. It's
Pleasure.
beautiful up here.
It is beautiful up here.
We've got to deal with the structure here that is, historic.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's surrounded by beautiful grounds. It has multiple functions, weddings, meetings, parties,
Yes.
that sort of thing.
Yes.
So you've got to balance the aesthetics and the functionality of this building with some sort of safety plan. And what would you recommend?
Well, again, in the wildland interface, we are concerned about the native vegetation, the ponderosa pine trees, the Douglas fir trees, the vegetation on the ground, and how it connects and interacts with the buildings in the area that you're located at.
Sure.
And we want to reduce the chance that fire will spread through that vegetation. So we want to break those fuels up. And we can do that through man-made features.
Okay.
Or we can do it
like this road we're standing?
like this driveway we're standing on
Yeah.
here. Or we can do it by mechanically treating the trees by thinning them out, pruning the branches up, mowing the grasses, and doing other treatments that reduce the fuel connectivity.
Let's go and talk about some of the planted areas around it and the unplanted areas around behind.
Yes.
And what can be done to help mitigate any fire issues there. Well, so here we are in this beautiful garden that they've put in here, and right in front of the mansion, some absolutely stunning plants. And this is also a way to mitigate fire from getting to the building, correct?
It is. You can garden and bring in fire-wise plants that have less flammability. In your garden areas, you have pathways like this, and that helps reduce the connectivity of the fuels. So the fire that's creeping along the ground cannot reach your building because you have these broken breaks in the fuels. You want to have up against the structure, you want to have more of a hard surface, whether it's gravel, rock, concrete, around the base of your building.
Well, this is a gardening show.
Yes.
So I did want to take a
lovely.
little bit of time to point out some of the beautiful things that are blooming here. A lot of yarrows in bloom, white and yellow yarrows. Daylilies are coming on over here. There's some catmint in bloom. The blue right over there by the yellow yarrow is gorgeous. And I'm seeing a lot of butterflies. So all these flat landing pad flowers really attract the butterflies into the garden. And so you can always add that in. But keeping this place well watered during the season so it doesn't dry out and get crispy will also help keep the fire from moving up toward a structure. Well, as beautiful as this is, I'm getting a little warm in this sun.
Right.
And there's an area over here that's a little bit more native looking that I wanted to address as well, what's going on in this area. So let's go take a look at that.
Let's go take a look at the native trees.
All right. Okay, so Alan, we're right here in an area that is a little bit more native looking, a little bit more natural looking.
Yes.
And I think this is where a lot of people start to get into trouble.
Yes, it is very scenic, and this is where a lot of people want to be, and they've moved here. But they also need to recognize that the fuels that are native to this area are flammable, and if they want to reduce their fire hazard and create that defensible space, they're going to have to do something with those fuels.
What kind of fuels are you talking about?
Well, we're talking about the native grasses, of course, but we're also talking about these natural vegetation that comes from the trees, the pine needles and the pine cones and the sticks. This is what catches the fire on starting, and then it spreads to the larger fuels and can create a larger level of fire behavior and heat output from the larger logs.
Now, what would the homeowner do?
We would like them to probably rake up all these needles and remove them on an annual basis.
Within 30 feet of the property?
Of the main structure itself.
Yeah.
As you go away from the house, as you get into the more native vegetation, you may want to go out and remove it periodically. Every 3 to 4 years, maybe go out and rake those areas up somewhat.
Pick up dead branches that have fallen
Certainly
down.
pick up all the dead branches and remove those. And certainly the spacing on these trees is really critical too. If we can get the crown spacings open, so that the vegetation doesn't connect to one another.
So you don't want the trees touching up at the top.
We don't want the crowns of the trees touching within the defensible space, because that is where, as that vegetation is dried out, starts to catch on fire, we don't want it to try to catch on the next tree.
Well, this is moderately native area.
Right.
Let's go around back side of the building and look at the very native area.
Yes, the area that has a lot more vegetation and hasn't got these kind of paths breaking them up.
Okay, so Alan, we're back behind the mansion right now, and this is a very natural area that doesn't look like it's had a whole lot done to it. You just see just a few feet down the slope, there are trees with branches all the way to the ground. There's a lot of dead trees down there, seedlings, all sorts of things that really haven't been addressed.
This is an area that we would be concerned about. The fire can spread through this natural vegetation. As you can see,
right up
it
this
has
grass.
a slope
Yeah.
that's leading up to the building. The grass is continuous and tall and starting to cure out. The fire could spread up into the crowns of these trees. As they spread from crown to crown up the hill, you can see they would spread through this fairly dense grove of trees right to the main
house.
building.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask you a couple other questions. Is there a fire season, or is this something that's a year-round vigilance?
Fire season does not necessarily apply anymore in Colorado. We have seen fire throughout the year in different places, and so people need to be aware of this and maintain their defensible spaces throughout the year, to be aware of the fuel accumulations in and around their buildings, and make sure that they're vigilant.
Excellent. So Alan, you've given me this stack of information here, and we're going to make this available to all of our viewers on our website at digincolorado.com to access all of these service and actions, and they're free to download, right?
That's correct. They're all available on our website. And again, our website will have information about where you can contact the local district office of the Colorado State Forest Service.
It looks like the facility here has already done quite a bit to make this area safer from fire problems, but I believe you're going off to meet with the caretaker right now.
Yes, we're going to go have a conversation about what I found in our walkthrough here and give him some advice on how to improve the defensible space and do the maintenance work so that we can reduce the fire hazards even further.
Grant, fantastic. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Chef Mick with Tony's Markets. Today we're going to be working with steamed vegetables and broccoli to make the best broccoli dish you ever tasted. Stay right there.